Yeah, hi. Today I'm just going to show you one of the processes that I use in making up the Anchorbuddy. This is a piece of polyethylene bar. It is started off at about 55 millimeters diameter. I want it to finish at 50 mils, but you can't buy it at 50 mils, so it's got to be bigger and machined down, which is quite good. Right, so I've cut it off to the right length and I have bored the hole through the middle. I'm going to put it on, I'm just using an ordinary centre lathe, and I'm going to put it onto a simple little mandrel that I've made. And the beauty of putting it on a mandrel, one is it's going to spin it concentric with the hole through the centre of the blank, which is what I want. And the other thing is each one is going to, when I machine it, is going to go back into exactly the same position. Now, to get the V and the outside diameter correct, I've made up a form tool. It's made in two pieces, one that forms the V and another one across the top here that's going to cut the outside edge. So even though this is going to spin slightly eccentric, once that outside comes down and cuts it, it's going to run absolutely true to the inside. Right, so we put that on. How do we know exactly where to put it? Well, on this centre lathe, I have got digital readouts for both the x-axis and the y-axis. So longitudinally is the y-axis. So I come along until this reads 0 up here, because I've preset it to how far along there I want it. And you can see it's winding down, and there we go. It's on 0. So I know it's exactly at that point halfway along the length is where I want it. I'm putting the tailstock in to give it some support, and I'll start this off slowly without turning the coolant on so you can see what's actually happening. So you can see the centre tool is just starting to cut the V. All right, I'm only going slowly so you can see what's actually happening. I'm going to put some coolant on because if it heats up, it doesn't give a very good finish. So I'm putting some coolant on it. Very difficult to see what's actually happening at this stage because of all the swarf in the road. You think, how far down do I got to cut? Well, once again on my digital readouts, I preset it on here, and I want to go down till that reads 0. So it's going down, down, down. It's nearly down to 0. Okay, and we'll stop that, and you'll see it has cut the actual V and it's cut the outside. Now I'm going a lot slower than normal so that you can see what's actually happening. Now it's not quite finished yet because you can see here there is a very rough little burr that is folded over because the material is quite fluid when it's under load and heat, and it's got a burr there and a burr there. So using another little V-shaped tool, I'm going to put it in. Now I don't need the coolant for that, so I'll switch the coolant off and we'll take that little burr off. It's there. See, that burr just disappears very, very quickly, and the same on there. That's it, the burr's gone, so when we take it off and have a look, it'll be nice and smooth to handle. I'll take the tool out so I don't cut myself on it, and we'll take it out of the mandrel, and you can see there's the finished product. We've cut the V and the outside edge at the same time, and the two little chamfers there and there just to make it look very, very neat. And you can see I've only gone slowly when we've made it so you can see what's going on, but it's made a nice, neat finish on it. And that's just done on a conventional little doing part of the assembly of the Anchorbuddies, and I'm just going to show you these bolts. They look like an ordinary bolt, but they've actually been machined so they're slightly thicker under the head, so they're actually going to press into the plate, and you'll see I'm pushing it in. I'm using about 4 tons there to actually assemble that up in there, and you can see I can do them very, very quickly with a little hydraulic press. And you can see that last part is very, very hard, very, very difficult the way it's gone in.
I'll tell you.
Today I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of how the Anchorbuddy is made and assembled. The main cheek plate that you can see here, I have pressed in the 12mm stainless steel bolt into that cheek plate. Now it's pressed in a hydraulic press that I use. It is well and truly forced into there, so it is very difficult for that to come apart. It's very, very rigid. From there, the next lots of parts which we use in the assembly process is a spring. Now obviously it's a purpose-made spring. It's made out of stainless steel and it's got tiny little hooks on it that go into the appropriate parts. Now the next part is a 6mm stainless steel screw, then an 8mm stainless washer, a stainless steel sleeve which is 8mm on the outside and 6mm on the inside, and that allows the plate that, or the pawl that's got Anchorbuddy written on it, it allows that to swivel on the bolt. Now after that there is a 6mm washer and a 6mm nylock nut. Now all those parts are stainless steel 316. Then we go on to the pulley or the sheave, which is machined out of solid polyethylene bar. That polyethylene is very good in salt water. It won't swell up and cause any jamming, so it is a very, very durable material. Then we go on to the other cheek plate there that's got boat anchor written on it, and through there we go to a 12mm washer, 12mm stainless steel nut. Then to finish it off we go into a quick acting double D shackle, and you can see there's a little piece sticking out on one end of it that goes through the shackle, and once it's turned 180 degrees it will not come apart. Then that shackle has 10mm nylon rope spliced onto it, and it goes around, and you can see that there is a loop spliced on to the other end to allow it easily assembled onto a buoy.
Does it tell you what poundage it's got? While I'm talking. Shit.
6mm pin here to break. It hasn't. It's actually bent it due to the load of the rope forcing that up there. You can see it's bent it, and it's bent this particular shaft, the plate on here, so it's very, very strong before it's actually broken, and that was having at least half a ton, probably more, load on that. But it certainly, it hasn't ruined the unit. I can pull that apart, I'll straighten that out, and it'll be back together again. But you could never ever pull that with your normal boat, pulling it at that load.